living as her. I never thought a simple favor for my girlfriend Emma would turn my life upside down. My name is Alex, a 24-year-old graphic designer living in a small, cozy apartment tucked into the heart of the city. My life was normal. I had a steady job, a small circle of friends, and a girlfriend who I adored. But even in my ordinary routine, I carried a secret I never shared with anyone. Crossdressing had always been a private passion of mine, a quiet indulgence in moments of solitude. It wasn't about escape or rebellion. It was about curiosity, about discovering a side of myself I rarely showed to the world. My collection of clothes, shoes, and makeup was hidden in a corner of my bedroom, each item a tiny window into a persona I only explored when no one was watching. It was thrilling, exhilarating, and terrifying all at once. Emma didn't know. She didn't need to. We had an open, trusting relationship in every other way, but this secret was mine alone. That was until last Saturday. It started innocently enough. Emma had asked me to help her with a photo shoot for a fashion project. She was running a freelance campaign and needed models, real, authentic-looking shots of her designs in action. "I just need someone to try them on for sizing and give me honest feedback," she had said with that bright, persuasive smile that made it impossible to refuse. I agreed, thinking nothing of it. I thought it would be like any other day, just helping her with measurements, snapping some quick pictures, and going back to my routine. But when I arrived at her studio, the atmosphere immediately felt different. Clothes were draped across chairs, makeup kits lined the counter, and a large mirror reflected the bright studio lights, giving the room a professional, yet intimate, energy. I felt a familiar flutter of excitement and a twinge of nervousness. Emma greeted me with a hug, her perfume warm and comforting. "Thanks for helping me out, Alex," she said. "You're a lifesaver." I nodded, trying to keep my casual smile from revealing the anticipation that buzzed beneath my skin. "Okay, so first," she said, rummaging through a rack of dresses, "I need someone to try this one. Just see how it fits." She held out a silky, blush-colored dress with delicate lace details. My heart skipped. I wasn't sure why, but seeing the dress in her hands made a pulse of something unfamiliar rush through me. I felt seen. Sure," I stammered, accepting it. The dress felt light in my hands, soft, almost electric. Emma's eyes sparkled with excitement as she handed me a makeup palette. "And just a little touch-up. Nothing fancy, just help me see how it looks in action." I froze. My private world had collided with reality. Here I was, holding her dress, standing in her studio, with the possibility to explore a side of myself I usually kept hidden. Part of me wanted to retreat, to run back to my apartment and lock the door, but another part, the part one rarely let breathe, was curious, eager, and trembling with anticipation. I took a deep breath. "Okay," I said, trying to sound confident. Emma's smile widened. "You've got this, Alex. I trust you." Her faith in me felt like both a blessing and a pressure. I stepped behind the folding screen she had set up for privacy, the dress slipping from my hands as I stepped into it. It clung to my body in a way that made my pulse race. I felt my chest tighten, my senses heighten. This wasn't just a dress. It was a key to a world I had never dared enter fully, a world that blurred the lines between Alex and the person I sometimes imagined myself becoming. I looked into the small mirror inside the screen and gasped. I barely recognized myself. The dress flowed over my frame, softening the edges of my silhouette. My fingers trembled as I picked up the makeup brush, remembering the countless times I had practiced in the privacy of my bedroom. Applying it now in Emma's studio felt like stepping into a dream, or a trap I couldn't escape. Emma peeked around the screen. "Wow, Alex. You look incredible." Her voice was warm, genuine, and laced with a hint of surprise. My face flushed, but I couldn't tell if it was from embarrassment, excitement, or the thrill of being exposed. "Seriously, you could model for this." I laughed nervously, hiding behind a blush and mascara. "It's just the dress," I muttered, though the reflection staring back at me told another story. Emma's encouragement gave me permission to explore, even if just a little. I twirled in the dress, feeling the silky fabric brush against my legs, feeling a spark of freedom I hadn't realized I craved. My heart raced, and I realized something terrifying. I didn't want this moment to end. But beneath the thrill, a seed of fear had already planted itself. What if Emma saw too much? What if my secret, my private indulgence, was no longer mine to control? As I stepped out from behind the screen, Emma's eyes lit up with admiration. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Stay like this for the shots, okay? I nodded, my mind spinning. My reflection in the full-length mirror showed someone transformed, someone I had never allowed the world to see. And yet, in that moment, I realized that transformation wasn't just physical. Something inside me had shifted. I was no longer just Alex. I was living, for the first time, as her. The first steps into this world were easy, exhilarating even. But I had no idea how far they would take me, how irreversible this journey could become, or how my life would change when the line between Alex and her blurred forever. And as the camera clicked and Emma directed me through poses, I felt the stirrings of a suspenseful, thrilling, and terrifying new chapter. One where my private desires and my reality were about to collide in ways I could never have imagined. The studio was quiet except for the soft hum of the lights and the occasional rustle of fabric as Emma adjusted her camera. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest, my fingers brushing the silky lace of the dress. Each step, each movement in front of the mirror made me more aware of how much I was enjoying this, an enjoyment I wasn't sure I was allowed to feel. Emma guided me patiently. Tilt your head a little, yes, like that. Perfect. Her voice was both soothing and electrifying. Every compliment made me shiver, not just from embarrassment, but from something deeper, a thrill I hadn't expected. My body responded in ways I couldn't control. I was acutely aware of the way the dress hugged my frame, how the high heels altered my posture, forcing me to walk and pose differently. The makeup made my eyes look bigger, my lips softer, my skin smoother. I caught glimpses of myself in the mirror and felt a confusing mix of awe and fear. I looked beautiful.
And it scared me.
Emma stepped closer. You're amazing, Alex. Really. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone wear this like you do. I forced a laugh, but my cheeks burned. Thanks, I guess. I murmured. My mind raced. Could she see how much I was enjoying this? Could she tell that my nerves were tangled with excitement? As the photo shoot continued, Emma had me try on more outfits. Each dress, each skirt, each new style pushed me further into this persona. I felt exposed, vulnerable, but also exhilarated. It was intoxicating, this sensation of being someone else while still being me. I couldn't stop.
I didn't want to stop.
But beneath the excitement, anxiety grew. What if Emma discovered the truth behind my fascination with dressing up? What if she judged me, laughed at me, or worse, was disappointed? My fingers shook slightly as I adjusted a strap, and I realized that even though Emma was encouraging me, the power to stop was still in her hands. The hours passed like minutes. I twirled, posed, smiled, and laughed in ways that felt both natural and completely foreign. Each time I caught my reflection, I was startled by the transformation. My posture, my gestures, even my voice seemed different. I was no longer just Alex. I was living as her. Emma, ever the perceptive one, noticed my hesitation. Hey, are you okay? She asked softly. You seem different. I laughed nervously, trying to hide the storm inside me. Yeah, I'm fine. Just a little tired. But the truth was far more complicated. My heart was racing, my mind spinning, and a new fear was creeping in, the fear that I might never want to go back. She leaned closer, examining a strand of my hair that had fallen over my shoulder. You really suit this, she whispered, almost to herself. I felt a shiver run down my spine. Her words, her attention, it was all too much, and yet not enough. I was caught in a web of thrill and dread, unsure whether to pull back or dive deeper. As the day progressed, the suspense grew. Emma's friends were supposed to arrive for a small viewing of the shoots. I wasn't sure if I could handle it. Being seen like this, so exposed, so transformed, felt like walking a tightrope. My palms sweated inside the gloves I had borrowed from one of her costumes. I kept picturing what might happen if they noticed something unusual, if they suspected that this side of me was more than just a favor for Emma. When her friends arrived, the energy shifted. Laughter, chatter, and camera clicks filled the room. I felt every eye on me, analyzing my appearance, judging my poses. My body stiffened, my stomach churned. But then Emma stepped closer, whispered in my ear, "Relax. You look amazing. Just be yourself or, be her." Those words broke something open inside me. I realized that her wasn't just a temporary persona. It was a part of me I had hidden for years, a side of myself that wanted to be seen, even if only in secret. Each smile I gave, each gesture I made me feel more alive than I had ever felt. But with that thrill came an inescapable tension, the fear of being caught, the fear that Emma, or someone else, would see too much. As the evening approached, Emma suggested a final outfit, a flowing dress, delicate and feminine, that reached my ankles. She added heels and a wig, turning the transformation up a notch. I looked at myself in the mirror and barely recognized the person staring back. My reflection was beautiful, fragile, and completely exposed. Emma's camera clicked endlessly, capturing every angle, every pose. I tried to stay calm, to focus on the shoot, but my mind kept wandering. What would happen when the shoot ended? Could I go back to my normal life? Could I unsee this, unfeel this? Then a knock at the studio door startled me. My heart leapt into my throat. Who could it be? Emma wasn't expecting anyone. I froze, every muscle tense. Emma glanced at me and whispered, "Stay calm. It's probably just the delivery." The knock came again, louder this time. Panic surged through me. I felt trapped, caught between the thrill of being fully transformed and the fear of being discovered. Every instinct told me to hide, to flee back into my normal self. But a small, stubborn part of me wanted to stay, to see this through, to embrace her fully, if only for a few more minutes. Emma opened the door to find a courier with a package. Relief washed over me, but it was short-lived. My hands were trembling, my pulse racing. I realized that I had crossed a line. What had started as a simple favor had become a moment of revelation, of exposure, of temptation. And now I wasn't sure I could ever return to the life I had before. By the end of the evening, Emma congratulated me. "You did amazing today. Seriously, Alex, you might be a natural at this." I forced a smile, hiding the whirlwind inside me. "Thanks, I guess," I said, my voice tight. As I left the studio that night, walking home in the quiet city streets, I realized something terrifying. The line between Alex and her had blurred. I wasn't just experimenting anymore. I was living a secret that might not stay secret for long. And as I looked at my reflection in a shop window, adjusting my hair, smoothing my dress, I knew that the suspense was just beginning. The thrill of transformation, the fear of discovery, and the magnetic pull of this new identity would follow me everywhere. And deep down, I wondered, had I taken the first step into a world I might never escape? The following morning, I woke to sunlight spilling across the room, the soft rustle of my new dress brushing against my legs. The previous night's transformation lingered like a dream I couldn't shake. Every movement felt foreign, yet natural, as if my body remembered the persona I had embodied for hours. I caught my reflection in the mirror and froze. Her was still there. My hair perfectly styled, makeup immaculate, and the dress clinging just right. Panic and exhilaration surged simultaneously. I had to get ready for work, or at least pretend to. My phone buzzed with messages from Emma. "Great job yesterday. Can't wait to see you tonight." My stomach twisted. She wanted to continue this, to push further. My mind raced. Could I resist? Should I? I wanted to, and yet I didn't. The day unfolded in a blur of tension. Every glance from coworkers felt like scrutiny. Each step in heels made me painfully aware of how different I was. I ducked into the restroom, staring at myself in the mirror, adjusting my wig, my skirt, my posture. I was terrified someone would notice. My hands shook as I reapplied lipstick, the sensation both empowering and humiliating. Then it happened. A colleague, Mark, leaned against the doorframe. Alex, is that really you? His voice was a mixture of shock and curiosity. My heart lurched. I forced a laugh, attempting to mask the panic rising in my chest. Yeah, new look, right? I smiled, trying to appear confident. Mark's gaze lingered. Wow, you look amazing. Seriously. Relief washed over me, but it was short-lived. His attention made me hyper-aware of every movement, every gesture. I could feel the walls closing in, my double life threatening to spill over into the open. By mid-afternoon, Emma called. Meet me at the studio after work. I've got a new outfit for you. My breath caught. I wanted to say no. I knew I should say no. But a magnetic pull, equal parts fear and desire, drew me toward her. At the studio, the tension escalated. Emma's latest concept required me to embody her fully, this time in public. The outfit was more revealing, more striking, and the makeup heavier. Each glance in the mirror made my pulse race. I felt exposed, vulnerable, but also alive in a way I had never felt before. We began the shoot, Emma directing every pose, every smile, every movement. The camera clicked, capturing my transformation. I was acutely aware of each second, each exposure, each risk. The thrill was intoxicating, but so was the fear. Suddenly, the door opened. My heart froze. A delivery man stepped inside, holding a package. Emma laughed, unaware of my internal panic. But then, a voice I didn't recognize called from the hallway. Emma? Are you here? Emma froze. I froze. My mind raced. The person could see me, see her. The adrenaline surged as I tried to make myself smaller, to blend into the shadows, to undo the transformation with sheer willpower. But it was too late. The stranger stepped closer, her expression puzzled. Alex? Is that you? I swallowed hard, my hands shaking. Every instinct screamed to run, to hide, to shed this persona and escape. But my body betrayed me, rooted in place, poised like a mannequin, trapped in the skin of someone I wasn't sure I could leave behind. Emma's eyes met mine. A flash of excitement and mischief danced across her face. Don't worry, she whispered. Just stay as her. My pulse spiked. This was no longer a private secret. It was a gamble, a risk, a surrender. The stranger stepped closer, examining me, then paused. You all look different. Amazing, but different. I forced a laugh, trying to mask the terror clawing at my chest. Emma's hand found mine, steadying me. Trust me, she whispered. It's supposed to be like this. The tension mounted as the stranger's gaze lingered. My mind whirled with conflicting emotions, fear of exposure, desire for Emma's approval, shame, excitement, and a thrill I couldn't deny. I was living on the edge of discovery, and every second stretched into an eternity. Then, another twist. The phone buzzed with a message from a coworker. Didn't know you had a twin, you're stunning. My stomach dropped. This was becoming more than I could control. Every message, every glance, every compliment felt like a double-edged sword. Emma guided me to a final pose, a dress flowing elegantly, wig perfectly adjusted, makeup flawless. She snapped the shutter. I looked at the image on the camera screen and barely recognized the reflection. This was me, or was it her? The room seemed to shrink around me. The line between Alex and her had vanished. I was exposed in ways I had never imagined. My heart raced, my hands trembled, my mind teetered on the brink of revelation. The thrill, the fear, the exhilaration, they all merged into a single, overwhelming moment. And just as I thought I might collapse under the weight of the suspense, the door opened again. This time, it was someone from Emma's inner circle, a person I didn't know. Their eyes widened. Is that Alex? I froze. Emma smiled, calm and confident.
Yes.
But maybe she's more than Alex now. Time seemed to stop. I stood there, frozen in heels and lace, caught between identity and desire, exposure and concealment. Every instinct screamed to run, but a part of me, the part that had tasted the thrill, the transformation, the power, wanted to stay. The suspense reached its peak. Would I survive this revelation? Would I be accepted? Or had I crossed a line I could never return from? The room felt impossibly small, every corner closing in on me as Emma's words echoed in my ears. Maybe she's more than Alex now. My reflection in the mirror blurred. Was that really me, or the persona I had become? The visitor's eyes scanned me from head to toe. For a moment, I thought they would laugh, gasp, or even run away in shock. But instead, they froze, their expression unreadable. Every heartbeat pounded in my ears, each second stretching into an eternity. Emma stepped closer, her fingers brushing mine. "Don't worry," she whispered, her confidence unwavering. "It's supposed to be like this. Trust me." I wanted to trust her. I wanted to surrender to the thrill of being her. Yet a part of me, the part that had lived as Alex for years, shivered at the vulnerability. My phone buzzed again. Another message. "You look incredible." How did this happen? My stomach twisted. Every compliment, every glance, every stare from someone who might know my secret made me feel exposed. The visitor finally spoke. I've never seen anything like this." "Alex, or her, what's going on?" Emma smiled, calm and calculating. "It's a transformation, and she's learning to embrace it." Her hand tightened around mine, grounding me. But the visitor's gaze didn't waver. It drilled into me, searching for answers I didn't have. I could feel the weight of everyone's eyes, the visitor, Emma, even my own reflection. My legs shook in heels, my hands trembled, and my breath came in shallow gasps. I wanted to explain, to retreat, to shed this new identity and return to safety. But something inside me, the thrill, the allure, the strange sense of freedom, held me in place. "Do you want to keep doing this?" the visitor asked, their voice a mixture of curiosity and caution. I hesitated. Should I admit the truth? That I had stolen a part of her life, tried on her identity, and now couldn't let go? My mind raced. One wrong word could unravel everything, exposing me, shaming me, and ending whatever control I thought I had over this new persona. Emma's eyes met mine. "It's your choice," she said softly, a sly smile tugging at her lips. "But trust me, you won't want to go back." A surge of conflicting emotions washed over me. Fear, excitement, shame, desire. My pulse thundered in my ears. I glanced down at the dress, at my carefully applied makeup, at the wig framing my face perfectly. Her stared back at me in the mirror, confident, poised, untouchable. And a small, terrifying part of me admitted, I didn't want to be Alex right now. But the visitor's eyes lingered, waiting for an answer. Every second felt like a lifetime. The line between Alex and her blurred, leaving me trapped in a suspenseful limbo. Could I risk revealing the truth? Could I embrace this identity fully? Or would someone, Emma, the visitor, the world, tear it all away from me? Emma squeezed my hand, her smile unwavering. "You don't have to answer yet. Just stay. See what happens." I nodded, my throat tight, every muscle tensed. I was caught between two worlds, my old life as Alex and the thrilling, terrifying persona I had become. And just as the visitor leaned closer, curiosity flickering in their eyes, my phone buzzed again. A new message appeared on the screen. "She looks perfect. Are you sure you can handle this?" I froze. The words were simple, but the implication was terrifying. Every secret I had tried to protect, every mask I had worn, was now at risk. My reflection in the mirror stared back at me, unblinking, unyielding, daring me to take the next step, or retreat forever. And in that moment, the door creaked open again.
Footsteps approached.
Heavy, deliberate. My heart skipped. Emma's eyes sparkled with anticipation. The visitor's expression hardened. And I realized someone else knew, someone else had come, and I had no control over what would happen next. I was trapped, caught between exposure and desire, shame and exhilaration, Alex and her. The thrill of transformation had become a dangerous game, and I didn't know if I was ready or if I would survive it. And then, the footsteps stopped. The room fell silent. I held my breath. Emma's hand still gripped mine, warm and insistent. The visitor's gaze burned into me, and I waited, suspended in a moment of sheer suspense, not knowing who would speak first, what revelation would come, or whether I could ever return to the life I had once known. The story hung in the balance, unresolved, leaving a question that would haunt me and the audience. Would I survive this revelation, or would the world discover that Alex was gone forever, replaced by someone far more daring, vulnerable, and unstoppable?